Die Macht des Unterbewusstseins. Der Geist ist stärker als die Gene. Doch welche Auswirkungen hat das auf uns als Menschen? Heute sehen Sie Teil 2 des Interviews mit Dr. Bruce Lipton hier bei Welt im Wandel TV. Atoms are not particles, they are nanotornadoes. That's what you always said, and that was something I never heard before.
Oh, yeah.
So, but important to understand because a particle you can somehow see and separate, but energy is everywhere. An energy tornado is, everything is energy then. So you talk a lot about the power of your subconscious mind or of the subconscious mind. So we are all programmed during the first 7 years, mostly. And we have our belief systems which are manipulating us and which is also leading to disease or health.
You believe you can get cancer? If you believe you can get cancer because the chemistry of that belief will make your body express cancer. What I emphasize in the culture, and what I emphasize in the lecture, is that our belief is controlling the chemistry, and the chemistry matches the belief. So if I have a fear of cancer, then the chemistry I'm going to be releasing matches the picture of cancer. And my fear can generate any disease. Fear can cause you to die. They always say, fear, you can die with fear. I go, that's not a joke, that's reality. I'm really concerned about the pesticides in the environment due to my own experience, another story. But do you think that this is also something we have to be concerned about? Is because the number of chemicals are rising and they also can affect our health? Or the quality of our food, it's very nutrient depleted and things like that? Here's a very important point. If your consciousness is weak, you don't have strong consciousness, then things can affect you all around because we are programmed. Oh, this chemical is bad, it's toxic, it can kill you. Oh, fire can burn you. I go, oh, and what about the people who walk across the hot coals? And I go, you can only walk across the hot coals if you believe you can walk across the hot coals. If you start walking across the coals and then you say, can I do this? The moment you question, you will get burned instantly. And so walking across fire is a mental process, consciousness. Well, that's what physics said. The reality is consciousness. Do you believe you're going to get burned? Well, then you're going to get burned. And about the chemistry, this is very, very interesting. In the U.S., in the south of the U.S., there are fundamentalist religious people. They work themselves up into religious ecstasy. They start speaking tongues, they say. Some funny words come out. And many of them are called snake handlers. They handle poisonous snakes. And the poisonous snakes, if they bite them, there's no effect. But they call it testify in the U.S. Testify means you do something no normal person would ever imagine doing, but you do it because you know, without question, God will protect you. That's testifying. I'll handle a poisonous snake because I know God will protect me, and then they don't get poison from the snake. Or it's the same as, I know I can walk across the hot coals, okay? But here's the point. Some of them testify, meaning they show God how powerful God is. They drink strychnine poison in toxic doses, strychnine poison. But in the belief that God protects them, they drink that poison, and they have no harmful effects. The point is very simple. If you have such a strong belief, even that poison won't affect you. Well, if you can drink strychnine poison, then what's eating sugar? What's the problem of something in the atmosphere around you?
Yeah, you're right.
But you have to have a very strong belief, because if you have a moment of doubt, just like I said, walk across the fire, you have one moment of doubt, you're going to get burned. If you drink strychnine poison and you have one moment of doubt,
you're going to die from the poison.
So I need to become a Buddhist monk and meditate all day to get to that level?
We have to change the belief, because what belief did we grow up with? We grow up with the belief, oh, a human is weak. A human is vulnerable.
You are not worthy, or things like
Viruses, bacteria, parasites. Oh, we're so weak that, oh, protect me. And
everything wants to kill me.
Exactly. And if you believe that, then you live in fear and you lose your power.
Yeah.
And so the simple reality is this: we are so powerful, and yet we don't believe it.
But if we are in fear, we give away our power, and so the governments can lead us easier.
Well, the government, which is mainly run by corporations, is not run by people.
No.
Is what corporations want.
Yeah.
Like in the United States, which irritates me, they made a survey of the public. How many people in the U.S. want to have a law that before you buy a gun, you have to, have a background check? Are you a sane, healthy person? 95% of Americans said, yes, we want to have background check. And the government voted against it. I said, well, then who's the government representing? It's not representing the people, it's representing the industrial military complex. They sell the guns, so they had more money, and the government represents them. It doesn't represent us.
It's the same in Germany. It's, I think, everywhere on this planet, or mostly this problem. So,
and it's very important. It's very important to know the idea that we have been programmed as children. And that this program controls our life. This isn't a new idea. 400 years, the Jesuits have a saying, give me a child until it's 7, and I will show you the man. What they were saying is, if I get the program the first 7 years, I control the outcome of your life. That's what they were saying. That's what the quote means. And people didn't understand what they were saying. Give me a child until 7. That's the period of program. And so whatever program you got before 7, that's the program in the subconscious mind. And that, from the neuroscientists now know, 95% of your life is coming from the program in the subconscious mind.
95%.
95% is from the program. So if I got a program that, most people get a program, when you're sick, it's not you that makes you well, the doctor. Because when you're a child, when somebody is sick, oh, we have to go to the doctor. And so daddy's sick, daddy goes to the doctor. You're sick, you go to the doctor. I say, so what does the child learn? And the child learns, oh, if I'm sick, I don't take care of myself. I go to the doctor.
And he gives me a pill.
Yeah, and the joke, here's the funny joke. Nobody said what the doctor had to do. All they said is, you have to go to the doctor. Mm-hmm. And what's the joke? How many people get better as they drive to the doctor or sitting in the doctor's waiting room? All of a sudden they go, I don't feel so bad. And the answer is, because you made the rule, first go to the doctor before I heal myself. So when you go to the doctor, then you can start to heal yourself. You could heal look, there was healing of people in this world 1,000 years, 2,000, 3,000 years before medical school. How do people heal themselves? Energy, thought, hands-on healing. It was all energy and consciousness before medical school. Once they had medical doctors, then, healings, you can't do your healing. You have to go to the special person. Well, that's a belief. And the reality is, who heals you? You heal yourself. So, that's how you do it.
So what does that mean for us as humans in this society? When we are that powerful, what can we do to make this world a better place? And live a meaningful life, which is, I think, the most important, that we express our true feelings and what we are really interested about.
Right, but it's hard because if 95... a subconscious is like a tape recorder.
Yeah.
You have experience, you learn it, you push the button, it plays the experience over again. The subconscious isn't bad. I mean, as I mentioned in the lecture, listen, when did you learn how to walk? Before you were 2.
Yeah.
I say, did you have to relearn how to walk? I go, no, it's a habit. It's subconscious. So I say, oh, I'm glad I have a subconscious mind because every day when I wake up, I don't have to learn how to walk again. Once I learned. Okay, it's a habit now. So I said, well, there are very good habits, but some habits are very bad. And when you have a habit, it will repeat itself until you change the habit.
How can we change them?
Well, that's another problem because at some time we think there's only one mind. I say, no, there's two minds, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. They're very different and they learn in different ways. The conscious mind is connected to your spirituality. Who you are is a unique person. The conscious mind is creative. That's why humans are different than lower animals. We have a conscious mind that has imagination and can create ideas, okay? The subconscious mind is just like a record playback. Record the experience, push the button, play the experience over and over again, okay? And the issue about that is we think we are creating our lives with our conscious mind, which has wishes and desires. But neuroscience says, no, only 5% of your life is coming from creative conscious mind. 95% of your life comes from the program that we got before 7. And this is why the Jesuits would say, give me the child for 7 years, I'll show you the man. Why? Because whatever I taught you in that 7 years, 95% of your life comes from that belief. And so what we're finding out is your life is not, you're not creating your life with your wishes and desires, you're creating your life with the program.
So when you observed these things during research, and I think this was really mind-blowing for you, have you been able to implement this knowledge into your life immediately?
No, no, that was because when I saw the mechanism, I was a scientist, I'm observing, I'm going, oh my goodness, the environment is controlling the genes. And then I said, well, if you make a great environment, you'll have healthy cells. And I said, on a scientific level, this makes sense. So I wanted people to hear my story. I said, come, let me tell you about this new science, because if you understand this new science, it's very powerful. You can create a wonderful life. So they would come in and I would talk and say, oh, if you understand this, you can create a beautiful life. But they would look at me and they go, Bruce, your story doesn't match your life. Your life doesn't look so good. And you say you have this good knowledge. And I realized that's when the problem was. It's like, oh, my conscious creative mind understood the story, but my subconscious mind did not change. Just because my conscious mind had a new idea, I still had the same old programs. So my life stayed the same, but my consciousness was now educated, but my subconscious had the same program. So I realized, oh my goodness, I'm talking a story, but I'm not walking a story. And I said, oh, I can't give this lecture anymore until I make my life conform to the story.
What have you done? And how long did that take?
Well, at first it was a bit of time, because I said the conscious mind, being creative, can learn in many different ways. Just listening to our conversation, the conscious mind could go, oh, that sounds really good. And the conscious mind could say, okay, I believe it. I could read a self-help book.
Reading self-help books, read lots of them.
That's always the joke that I say. People say, how many read self-help book? And every hand goes up. Yeah. And I said, and how many your lives changed after you read the book? And the hands go back down.
So I'm a big fan of the emotional freedom technique from Jessica and Nick Ortner. You know them, EFT tapping.
Yes.
So that's one possibility to change your subconscious.
There are many different possibilities to change, but you have to do something special. Not reading the book, that educates the conscious mind. The habit mind, subconscious. Think about it. If you have a habit, you don't want it to change. I learned how to walk when I was 2. Do you think I want to wake up one day and forget how to walk?
No.
No. So habits resist change.
Yeah.
So if you can change the conscious mind, just go, I have a new idea. I changed my conscious mind. It doesn't change subconscious, because subconscious resists change. So I said, oh, you have to use a special process to teach the subconscious mind. I go, yeah. The subconscious mind, first 7 years, how did we get all those programs? And that is, the brain of a child in the first 7 years is not in consciousness. When you put wires on a person's head, EEG, electroencephalograph, you read the brain activity. if you read the brain activity of a child under 7, the brain is not operating in conscious. That's a higher vibration. They're operating in a lower vibration called theta. Theta is imagination. And this is why kids under 7 can mix the real world and the imaginary world as one. So a child is riding a broom. It says it's a horse. At that moment, to the child, it's not a broom. At that moment, it's a live, breathing horse, and they're riding the horse. And the mother says, give me the broom, and the child is like, what are you talking about? This is a horse. That's imagination. A tea party with no tea, that's imagination, okay? So the first 7 years, theta, imagination, theta is also hypnosis.
Hypnosis.
And that's why whatever the parents are saying, whatever the family is saying, whatever the community is saying, a child under 7 is in hypnosis. It's learning by just hearing, just a watching. It's like a recording camera. Whatever it hears, it sees. Subconscious, subconscious.
So hypnosis is one tool for the adult brain to recalibrate.
That's how it learned in the first place. You want to change it, you go through hypnosis, because hypnosis shuts off the conscious mind and opens up the subconscious. So whatever program I'm hearing when I'm in hypnosis is not going into conscious mind, it's going deeper into subconscious. So one way of changing subconscious is hypnosis. You don't even have to see a hypnotherapist, because the vibration of theta is below consciousness vibration, let's say alpha.
Yeah.
And when
the
you
brain
go to
waves,
bed, when you go to the brain waves, and when you go to bed, the moment you go like unconscious, you shut off consciousness, but the next part of your brain is still in theta. So that means even though your consciousness is sleeping, the brain is in hypnosis. So if you put the earphones on and you play a program of what you want, you know, you want to be healthy, you want to have love, whatever it is you want. When you're going to sleep and you put the earphones on, as soon as the consciousness shuts off, now you're in theta. Theta is hypnosis. So your consciousness doesn't hear the program, but the program goes straight down into subconscious. So that's self-hypnosis.
So that's something that you do?
Oh, absolutely. I did that in the very beginning.
In the very beginning?
Yeah, I'd put on the earphones at night to go to sleep, and it changed my life.
It worked, obviously.
Oh, well, that's why they sell these programs in the bookstores, change your belief programs, and that's how they work.
So when I'm new to that field and I've never heard about something like this, like many viewers of this talk right now, is there a web page or something I can have a look at to get an impression what kind of techniques are existing?
Oh, yeah, because in addition to hypnosis, I want to add, because there's 2 more things. Hypnosis works between 0 and 7.
Yeah.
After age 7, consciousness is the new higher vibration, alpha. That's the waves. It's higher than theta. So after age 7, you're not in hypnosis, okay? But you can still make a habit. I say, how do you make a habit? I say, you repeat something over and over again. Practice. You repeat it. So I say, well, then another way of changing subconscious is repetition. Do something, say something, and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And at some point, it becomes a program in the subconscious and a new habit. I like it because there's a funny phrase that they use. They say, fake it till you make it. Meaning, if you're not a happy person and you want to be happy, fake it. Pretend I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. You keep saying it. I say, why? Repetition is how the subconscious learns. How did you learn anything like riding a bicycle, driving a car? You had to practice. The more you repeated it, the easier it was able to do it. So if I keep saying, I am happy, even if I'm not, I keep saying I am happy, my subconscious learns from repetition. And at some point when the program, I am happy, is in the subconscious, you don't even have to think about it, because the subconscious controls 95%. So if 95% of the day the program, I am happy, is playing, then you're automatically happy without even saying it. So the first phase is hypnosis. After age 7 is repetition, practice. And now there's something brand new, and this is the one I wanted to get to, is called energy psychology.
Yeah.
These are modalities that encourage what is called super learning. I go, super learning? I go, one thing people may have seen that super learners can do is when they read a book, they don't read the words like this. They take the finger and go down the page. And as fast as the finger went down the page, they read all the words. So they can stand in a bookstore, turn the page, and they can read an entire book in 10 minutes. I said, if you can use that ability, super learning ability, and use that to change the subconscious, then you can change a subconscious program, not in days and weeks, like hypnosis and repetition. You can change a subconscious program 5-10 minutes with super learning. And my website, and this is what I wanted to get to, my website, simple, brucelipton.com, has under resources about 30 different energy psychology processes, including EFT. These are new ways of rapidly changing the subconscious programs. We need to do this now because civilization is in a lot of trouble. Civilization is causing what scientists recognize as the 6th mass extinction of life on this planet. The point is, 5 times in the history of this planet, life was thriving, and then something happened, and from 70 to 90% of all life disappeared. So, for example, there were dinosaurs here, and they believe a comet hit the Earth, and it changed the environment, and the dinosaurs disappeared overnight. Well, that was the 5th mass extinction. Today, we are losing species of organisms faster than ever before. In 1970, they took a survey. How many animals on planet Earth? They did the survey again very recently. 2/3 of that population have disappeared. We only have 1/3 the number of animals that were here in 1970. We only have 1/3.
We just recently had a study last week in Germany which showed that 75% of the insects are...
That was just the other day. Brand new.
Brand new, yeah.
Again, that's
Since the
3/4 of the insects. And you say, so who needs insects? I say, you can't have agriculture if you don't have insects.
Right.
And so when you lose the bees and the insects, you lose the ability to make food. So it's a bigger problem than just insects disappearing. It changes agriculture. And so 2/3 of the animals are disappearing. 3/4 of the insects in Germany are disappearing right now. They already know that. They say the fish in the ocean, 2048. That's not very far from now.
I don't believe that. So I'm a marine biologist as well. And I just ask myself, who said that? No, we can't estimate the power. For instance, the tornadoes. This is also impacting the ocean, which nobody is thinking about. It will never take until 2048.
It'd be faster.
Never, never. We have to act right now. So
Yes.
One last question, dear Bruce. What's your advice to the people out there who want... Just like me, I'm very passionate about environmental protection and the ocean, especially whales. The big role of whales in the environment is so heavily underestimated. Yeah. What can we do to make this world a better place? What is your advice?
My advice is simply this. Before the civilization we have now, 10,000 years ago, there were people on this planet. In Europe, they call them the Druids. In the United States, we have the Indians. In Australia, we have the Aboriginals. These are the indigenous people.
They have been right, and they always were right.
They always saw the earth as a garden, and they always said they were gardeners to take care of the earth and be a gardener. And we had left that go. We think, oh, we can dominate nature. That's our belief system. I say, and how are we doing with that? And as we just said, our human behavior is destroying the ecology. And when you destroy the ecology, you destroy life. And that's why we're facing our own extinction. And I say, well, what do you want to do? I say, go back to the belief of the indigenous people and treat this nature as a garden and stop destroying the garden. Because when the garden is gone, so are we. And this is what we have to wake up to. So I say, we have to learn to live in harmony with nature, not to dominate nature, because in dominating nature, we're the ones that are destroying it. And that's why humans are the cause of the extinction that we are facing right now. The sixth extinction is due to human behavior. So you want to stop the extinction? Then we have to change our behavior as fast as we can, because the behavior now is to destroy the garden.
And especially what we consume. Yeah. Which company do we support with our money or with our lifetime because we work for them or not? Right?
Money is a vote.
Yeah.
If you put your money into Monsanto, you're voting for Monsanto. Right. And they are one of the biggest destroyers of the planet.
The biggest destroyers, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And so the idea is that we have to put our money into those corporations that are called conscious corporations that are giving harmony to the workers, providing harmony to the world. We find those corporations that are bio corporations, organic. We have to return back to natural, because the man-made reality is what is destroying not just the ecosystem, but our own internal ecosystem, our biology. Yeah. And so we have to recognize it's our behavior that has to change, not wait for the world to change.
No, it's me. It's always me.
And the beautiful part about it, as I can say, because when I saw this years ago, and then I said, I must apply this new knowledge. I haven't had a doctor since 1980, 1970. No doctor, no pharmaceutical drugs, eating natural food, enjoying your life, living in love, living in harmony, being social, forming community. These are the practices that bring health and harmony back, okay? And here's a simple truth from my perspective. Mm-hmm. The idea is some people say, oh, if you have a good life and then you die, you can go to heaven. I have a different vision. I say we are born into heaven. We came here to create, and we are, except we're not creating with our wishes and our desires. We're creating with a program that other people gave us. Those programs are toxic. If you let go of those programs and start living with peace and harmony, you consume less. You're in love more. Happiness is every day you wake up. And so I said we've been programmed. So in conclusion, very simple. There's a famous movie called The Matrix. And it's a movie, they say science fiction. I go, no, it's the documentary. Every human has been programmed. That's a fact of life. First 7 years is programmed. But in the movie, they say, if you take a red pill, you get out of the program. And I say, oh, in our world, people have taken this red pill. They didn't know it. It was called falling in love. Really? No, why? Listen, simple. Your life could be blah, 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 every day, blah, blah, blah. And then you meet a special person. Yeah. You fall in love overnight. The next day, life is beautiful. Oh, I love my life. Oh, the nature's so pretty. Everything's so beautiful. I say, look, your whole life was blah, blah, blah. 24 hours later, it's like heaven on earth. I go, because we now know from science, when you fall in love like that, you stop playing the program and you start creating from conscious wishes and desires. I say, the moment you stop playing the program overnight, and then the next day you wake up with wishes and desires, what did you create? Heaven on earth. I said, that was natural all of the time, except for the fact that when we're not in love like that, we are playing the program. And those programs take away our life, our energy, our happiness.
So it's up to us to take the red pill and
take that red pill. Be in love. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be in love with a person.
No, but in love and life.
Like a gardener puts their hands in the dirt and they feel so happy and they're living a very happy life. An artist is painting something. They're in happiness and joy. So love doesn't mean it has to be with another person. It has to be with something that when you do it, when you're being it, it gives you joy.
Yeah, being
because
joy.
That joy is chemistry. Enjoying. And chemistry of joy is chemistry of health.
Beautiful.
And that's why people, when they're in love, they're so healthy.
Bruce, thank you so much. I could spend hours with you, but we don't have the time.
No, but I would really love people to know, because just think, just imagination, one day we wake up and everybody is in love this one day.
Perfect. It's heaven on earth.
It is heaven on earth, not just for individual, but for everyone.
Yeah.
And I said, that's a possibility. There's no reason why we can't have that except for the program. Yeah. So I say, let's wake up.
And everybody who's in love is not harming the environment or animals or other people, because you are happy and you are loved. Yeah. Right. So thank you, Bruce, so much.
Thank you for letting me speak to this audience.
Always.
Thank you.
Thank you.